All right, man. So you were telling me about Yellow Jackets.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Fill
sir.
me in because I have not watched it.
Okay, so sharing offline before we got started was you and I both, we tend to keep up on shows and things of that nature. And so Yellow Jackets is one that I've heard a few of my friends mentioning, and I go, okay, I'll check it out, whatever. And because the front cover of it is kind of like the thumbnail that had like, all right, it seems like a teen drama. It totally doesn't
Yeah.
seem like my cup of tea. So finally, I was like looking for something to watch. Like, oh, it's got 2 seasons. Why not binge it? So I started it, and dude, it is a really great. You and I talked just before we hopped on. That it's one of those shows that's like every episode you learn more about the greater scheme of it, and so there's another layer of it. So it starts off kind of like a teen drama. It kind of gives that vibe like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like there's more to it, but it's got a cast of who appear to be teenagers. Like most people, you
Hmm.
Google them, they're all like 28 years old, but they look like teenagers. Um, but then they talk about kind of what's really going on, and then what at least most people think is going on isn't a real deal, and it's got aspects of sci-fi, of survival, of horror. So the real quick and dirty of it, so I'll give you is basically it's called the Yellow Jackets because it follows a high school soccer team from New Jersey called the Yellow Jackets. It's a female team, and they are on their way to nationals. And a couple weird things happen right before they head off to nationals, and then on the plane trip there. By the way, this proves that the way this is written is that you should never trust a teenage girl. Uh, and being a former teenage boy, I may co-sign that a little bit. All right. And by the way, sir, I this show reminds I never ever ever want to parent a young woman. It's just I don't have the requisite. I'm not smart enough. That's what it is. I'm just not smart enough. But and this is not a spoiler. If you read
Mm.
the description, it tells you this. The plane that they're traveling on goes down. So they wind up surviving, at least some wind up surviving. And so half the series is shows them when the plane, during the years in which the plane crash occurred.
Mm.
Half the series is taken in modern day, and it flows back and forth, and it's just done in a way. And again, there's really I think I'm on episode 5 of the first season, and there's 2 seasons at this point. Hopefully, there's a third. I'm sure, given how great the first season, I don't know why they've done it too.
Mm.
There's definitely aspects of science fiction, horror, supernatural things that occur
Mm.
once the plane goes down. They even maybe have contributed to the plane crash. You're not
Mm.
sure. So it's done. It's got a great cast. It's got Juliet Lewis, Christina Ricci, uh, 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 Viv Houston, which if you not know who Viv Houston is, did you ever watch the Santa Clarita Diet with Drew Barrymore and Tim Oliver?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
She's the daughter from that.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yes, the and just a lot, at least the character, the people who the actresses, and there's a couple actors in it as well. The younger version of them, most of which are unknown, but it really develops, and there's even got a little political intrigue. It's just a really really good show. It's like if you ever watch Good Girls with Christina
Yeah.
Hendricks.
Yeah.
If Good Girls and Stranger Things intersected, that's kind of what you're getting, and that still isn't all of it. So yeah, but it's
Nice.
really good. It's really good.
Awesome, dude. That's so. I'm gonna guess that that's your TV show of the week.
It is, and yet it is not, because given that we go the shows that we've seen the last 7 days, and it is we're recording on a Monday, which means what fell a few days ago was a Wednesday, and my show of the week, while not Wednesday Adams, it is The Way, the season finale of The Mandalorian.
Oh, we'll be getting into that pretty deep and
Yes,
hard. It's almost like if
yes,
you were going to your parents' room naked and
No,
afraid,
just don't.
and
Not with Grogu. No, we can't. We can't. We can't. We can't. No,
uh,
but if the parents did though, let's hypothetically, since you brought it up, because I wasn't going to, maybe they open up the box slowly,
hmm.
and there's a small green toy that squeaks.
And it just says yes or no, yes or no.
Could you imagine walking around your parents' bedroom out here in this robotic? Yes, 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 yes. And just we're gonna get kicked off the internet.
What's your movie of the week?
I actually didn't have a movie of the week. I just was too busy to really get out to see anything. I'm excited for Covenant, as well as I've got to catch Renfell, and of course, in just under in just a little over a week, I should say, is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
You put four fingers up there.
I did. As soon as I get down, I don't. I think I went to. I think I was still getting my head around John Wick, and I just couldn't quite bring it down. Bring it down.
Oh yes, we are going to. We'll do something special for Guardians of the
Yes,
Galaxy
sir.
Volume
Yes,
3.
sir.
My movie of the week was Evil Dead Rise. And,
How was that?
It was
Without Ash. How was that?
It was bloody. It was bloody.
I'm sure.
I like my Evil Dead with Ash. I really like Bruce Campbell in that mix.
Yep.
I like what they did, kind of expanding everything the way that they did it. It was kind of cool. You could tell it was pretty practical. There was a lot of blood in that movie, man. So much blood.
Was there any humor? Any humor at all?
Yeah, there's some humor in there.
Okay.
Not to the level of what Sam Raimi would have done or anything like that, but yeah, there was some of that, but it felt like an Evil Dead movie. But an Evil Dead movie without Ash,
Yeah.
So it felt, which is more like a horror movie, but I don't know, man.
Was there copious amounts of mustard?
Well,
at any point, did someone grab and go, "Give me some sugar, baby"?
No.
Did at any time did someone go, "Shop smart, shop S-smart, S-smart"? Excuse me. Yes.
No, and there was a perfect spot where they could have put an S-smart in the show or in the movie, and they didn't.
Which kills me. I'm sure at this point, the Raimi and all the properties, they probably got S-smart trademarked. But if not, why has that not been like a real store?
Oh, I'm sure it is. There has to be a real S-smart.
You think?
Oh yeah.
Okay, hang on.
There's got to be. Go ask the Google. Ask the Google.
Well, again, I typed in S-smart and it gave me an option. Let me see what we got here.
And clear your browser history right after.
Yes, sir. Well, given what we talk about on the podcast every day with little kids going on their parents' beds, I think I'm already on all the lists that I can actually be on. I'm gonna go the route of Tucker Carlson and Don Lemon if this doesn't stop. Okay. And if you don't know who they are both now unemployed. There actually is, at least from a photo, there actually is there's an S-Mart, and it says, "Enjoy the lowest prices and on Earth's biggest selection of books, electronics, home apparel, and more." And please tell me the more includes a chainsaw.
It has to.
It has to.
Yeah, if they're doing, they need a new marketing team if they don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just. But I will also say this: in my computer, when I typed in S-Mart and like real stores, it brought up more than a few references to Walmart. So
I'm sure maybe Walmart bought out a lot of the real S-Marts.
Or Walmart is where the ultimate evil. Like, I feel like you could find a Necronomicon at Walmart.
Yeah, it's in like aisle I-19.
Yeah, Walmart wouldn't sell like real hip hop music in the '90s, but they would sell the book Bound in Flesh that brings about the end of humanity, or as we could like to say, things that low prices.
Nice. Well, with that, let's go ahead and hit that music. Welcome to the Fandemic. This is a podcast that celebrates all the things that are awesome. Every week, we are going to give you all the things that to level up your awesome. In a Lone Star, I go through the best bad reviews that I can find based on title alone. In Prevenge of the Nerds, we tell the stories that could have happened before and after your favorite movies, TV shows, and so much more. And in the Fandemic, we look at supporting casts of properties we adore or tribute our favorite actors, movies, TV shows, and so much more. Plus, I have interesting conversations with amazing people like Harlow's Haunt, Bart, Sibel, and many more. I am the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Butin, and this is the unverified twin of Shamar Moore in the nipples, the unverified twin of Dwayne The Rock Johnson in the eyebrows, and the unverified twin of Dave Bautista in the head wrinkles. Who am I talking with?
My name is Brian S. Dennis, where the S stands for This Is the Way.
Welcome to the Fandemic. Where are we streaming at, buddy?
We're streaming on all the things. We're streaming on Facebook Live. I believe we're also on YouTube. We're hitting all the places. So where you find your favorite podcast, we know we are your favorite podcast, or at least the most recent podcast you've streamed. Come find us, because we are all about growth through stupidity.
Yes, you couldn't have said it better. So pretty much we got this coming right out on Facebook Live right now. You can catch it. It's also on the YouTube Live as well. It's on there forever on YouTube after that. But I will put it on everywhere you can download podcasts at 11:11 on Mondays and Fridays. You can find those. And then if we put stuff in the middle of the week, we will. If we don't, we don't. Sorry.
That was like the equivalent of turn down your rock music and get off my lawn.
I did see people mowing already, and dude, I'm mad.
Dude, it was like if we post, and we don't. And take your feelings, Sonny, and get a haircut. Like really.
I do need a haircut and a beard trim. I need to get that. I need to go to your buddy here in the next.
Yeah, we'll hook you up. All right. Before we get too delving, I got to share with you my my tragedy of the day. Okay.
Ooh, do tell.
So I was at work and we're talking about different things we're gonna do with some tech we're doing, and we were looking at this new system. We were talking, hey, it's so it kind of is very user friendly and it's intuitive and all these things that are going on. I go, so this is where Skynet is from, and now I'm talking to an IT professional, and everything about him made me believe he would get the Skynet reference. Brad, he looked at me just with the deer in the headlights look, and then he goes, "Oh yeah, the Terminator movies. I saw those when I was in elementary school."
Hang up the phone. You can't trust that person.
I just, what? Yeah, he goes, yeah, they were, and I repeat, they were pretty good. I'm just not a Schwarzenegger fan. Okay, first off, Terminator was not about Schwarzenegger. Terminator was about man's struggle to stay independent and free despite the rise of the machines. Go. You know what I'm saying? Like, not only was it that, but we had our Judgment Day.
Yeah.
By the way, what's more impactful? Defeating the machines and Judgment Day, or defeating the aliens on Independence Day?
I mean, the machines, obviously, and with also, you can't. It is illegal to say that you are not a fan of Schwarzenegger. There's only one type of person in the world that's not a fan of Schwarzenegger, and those
Stallone.
are communists.
I was gonna say Stallone, but whatever works for you.
They buried the hatchet, didn't they? Yeah, they
I
did.
think so. I mean, at some point, Stallone could always hold up the Oscar, and like, I think I won, bro.
Right.
You know, or you know how when it's Batman versus Superman, where he goes, Martha, how do you know that name? If I was Stallone, I would go, Maria. I saw pictures of the nanny. You won. It would just be horrible. Yeah.
Now Schwarzenegger's the trailer for Fubar did come out for it's a new Netflix show.
Okay.
That Schwarzenegger's going to do. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But it is it reminds me of True Lies. It's
really
kind of that premise, but only it's father daughter.
Okay.
That both work for special CIA teams.
Okay. I wanted to at least explain the accent. Like, I wanted to go to the old school, like we had like an 83, 84, would at least attempt to, kind of like with Van Damme, they at least attempted to explain the accent, and then they just quit trying. Then it was like he was born in like Boise, Idaho. Really?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Like, you're not hearing that. Like, really?
He was born in Austria, but moved when he was 6 months old.
Exactly.
He was born on a military base. He's an American
I think they might have done a movie where, like, he's an English teacher, and they go to Austria, and he doesn't speak the language. Like, they just tried to go so far the other way. Mm-hmm. It was, like, ridiculous. By the way, there's nothing he can... Well, I shouldn't say nothing. If he's going to come out with series, he's going to have to work really hard to compete with Tulsa King. Like, I mean, if you really want to say by the way, looking at, just if you compare, and first off, as much as we joke about the 80s, and the Rocky movies jumped the shark there for a little bit, but they brought it back. Stallone is, again, the movie won Best Picture in either 79 or 80. They definitely, once you get to, as much as it was popcorn for me to watch him climbing a mountain screaming Drago while running from the KGB. I think that's who those folks were, even though I don't think they ever stated it. There's definitely a different tenor. The first two Rockies versus we kind of went a little bit far, but then they brought it back with Rocky Balboa and definitely with the Creed series. And he's shown good acting chops. And I liked him in The Expendables. Definitely love him. And Tulsa King. Schwarzenegger gave us Jingle all the way.
Yeah.
When you're playing, not even, I won't say second banana, but when you are playing the equivalent banana to Sinbad, Stallone was a Ravager.
Yeah. Do you remember the Sinbad Genie movie that never actually happened?
No.
Kazam, yeah. There's so there was
a thing?
Yeah, so it's a Mandela effect.
Joke, and I was waiting on the twist line.
Yeah,
that's a real thing.
It's a real thing. So there was everybody says that they remember this Genie movie with Sinbad in it, and never happened. But then back in, I think it was like 2013, 2014, he ended up making a short of this movie because everybody thought that it was a thing. Right. So he went ahead and just did it was like a 15-minute short. You can find it on YouTube. It's actually pretty cool. But I think it was like Kazam or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no matter how bad, no matter how bad it was, it could have been very good. No matter how bad that short film is, it can't be worse than Kazam with Shaquille O'Neal. That nothing. For people that really hated on Will Smith, by the way, here's the general rule: don't follow Robin Williams in anything. So when Will Smith tried to follow Robin Williams playing the Genie of the Lamp, that has some problems. He still was better than Shaq and Kazam.
It's Shazam, the Sinbad movie that never happened.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a Mandela effect type of thing. So, but yeah, check it out. Check it out if you ever get bored.
And is it possible, Bradley? Because I know your love of DC. Is it possible that we could get Shaquille O'Neal bringing back his version of John Henry Irons, aka Steel.
I think he played a better version of him now than he did back then.
Yeah, with older.
I mean,
I can see
right?
it.
I could definitely see, especially like if they want to introduce the daughter to take over.
Sure.
I mean, I'd be okay with it, man. I like if they did a TV movie or hell, even straight to Blu-ray or whatever. I'm down, man. Blue Beetle looks fantastic.
It does.
So DC, I have high hopes for you because we all know how much I love your things for the most part.
You paused that sentence in a really awkward place.
I know.
When you watch this back, you're like, what things would I given after? So, and here's my really horrible Shaquille O'Neal impression. Shaquille O'Neal, greatest center, history of basketball. Gonna play John Henry Irons. I'm Steel. And I'm going to stop doing impressions because that sucked. All right. Let's talk about what we're here for tonight, my friend.
All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and introduce the topic of the day? Oh, gosh. Hold on. Well,
I'm going to say, where's that cameo?
We have a shitty and an awesome kid. Hi, that's my shirt.
Are you gonna share your sweaty balls?
She wants you.
Oh, I get the. Oh, okay. The cat has claws.
Our claws out.
Yes. Yeah. Get the cat off, please. Oh, come on.
Yeah. Yep. There's a certain look. You can always tell when a person steps on a Lego. You can always tell when cat claws are right there at the base of the neck. It's just a certain thing where the shoulders hunch, and the cat at that point loses all ability to walk quickly.
Yeah.
And so good luck with that.
All right, take the cat that way. Tell Brian bye. Take the cat that way.
Bye. This cat also says bye.
Bruh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What you could do, I think it's that. I think it's second episode of Yellow Jackets. There's a scene that may convince Leia to never bring the cat around you again. So just throwing it out there.
I will start that tonight then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This will be a to be continued on the Yellow Jackets.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right, back to the show. What are we doing?
Yes, sir. So we're gonna do our kind of revisit. When we do a lot of our shows, we try and do either a prevent show where we talk about a particular movie or TV show and give you what happened before and what may happen afterwards. And sometimes we do shows that are really kind of our old school shows where we do more of our 5 list of things that we really dig, and we've been doing a few of those. Well, and then occasionally a show like tonight where we just have something that we really, really enjoy and we just want to talk about it. So what we're going to do, and I felt like we may have did these when season 2 ended, but we're going to revisit now the end of season 3 for, I don't know about you, but I think maybe my favorite of the Star Wars series that are on Netflix, The Mandalorian.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And Mandalorian really kind of reignited the Star Wars flame, in my opinion. I don't think if season 1 of Mandalorian was a bust, we wouldn't have gotten anything else.
No.
But they did a good job.
Remember that every time Disney Plus suggests Andor, remember that.
Yeah.
Just remember that. Yes.
So, well, let's go ahead and before we get in that, I do have a Lone Star review. So, in a tribute show, we kind of give you a little bit of everything. So, I'm going to go over a 1-star review of Mandalorian. I got a little bit of tidbits for you as well.
I would love that. Yes, sir.
Before I get into my 1-star review,
yes, sir.
Do you want to take a guess of what IMDb rated this out of 10?
The series or a particular episode?
As a whole. Mandalorian as a whole. All the reviews for all of Mandalorian.
And IMDb does a scale of like stars, right? I'm trying to remember how they do their rating.
It's just 1 through 10.
1 through 10? I'm going to give it an 8.7.
Dude, you are right on. 8.7 out of 10.
And I promise I didn't look it up. I promise I did not look it up.
Oh, that was too fast to look it up. You didn't even like, well, let me think here. Yeah. All right. No. All right. Now let's see. I'm going to test you now. You got IMDb. Let's see if you can get Rotten Tomato. The Rotten Tomato meter. I know they have the tomato meter score, and then they have an audience score. What do you think the Rotten Tomato meter score is?
Okay,
It's a percentage. So 1 to 100.
I'm gonna give it a 93%.
All right, 93. And then what do you think the audience scored Mandalorian?
Hang on, I might have to retract that 93 because the audience scores trend higher. So I started really high with it with the actual critics one. I'm gonna back the critics one down to an 84. So I'm gonna give the audience a 93.
All right, so the Rotten Tomato meter scores The Mandalorian as a whole as 90%. And
that is really high. That is extremely high.
And the audience score is a 78.
Wait, the audience is lower?
Yeah.
That's rare. That is rare. That happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
maybe whoever wrote that Lone Star review must have also been an audience contributor to the Rotten Tomatoes site.
Yeah, exactly. So now, so before I go into this Lone Star review, we will go ahead and rate this on the Rage rating, which is we have 1 rage emoji. There is some rage, but the review was thought out and had good points. This person is 0 to 25% doomass. 2 rage emojis. The rage is clear, and there are valid points made. The review is more opinionated than realistic. This person is 25 to 50% doomass. 3 rage emojis. There is a lot of rage, and they make no points as to why this person is 50 to 75% doomass. And the girl through stupidity here, it's going to be 4 rage emojis. There is so much rage that this is actually funny. This person is 75 to 100% doomass.
Yes.
All right. And let's I like that growth for stupidity. Let's keep that up there. But
every time we go through this every time we go through this rating score, my head goes right back to Shawshank Redemption, the scene where they built the library and they're going through the books and they find the Count of Monte Cristo, and it's written by Alexander Dumas, and one of the prisoners says Alexander Dumbass. I just always that always puts my head there. So so we're doing the Dumas scale.
Dumas. Yes. All right. So now I pick my reviews on title alone. I don't read it until we're done. So, all right. And the title of this one is The Mandalorian, a tale of galactic disappointment in season 3. Yes, this review is current. This is from March of 2023. Now, Brian, are you ready for this?
Wow. You know how to say that you had me at hello? I think they had me at the Mandalorian. I can't wait to hear this. Let's do it. I'm buckled in, sir.
All right. So I'm going to read this pretty much as exactly as I can. Mistakes and all. I will give it my best to make it as dramatic as possible. Once upon a time, in a galaxy not so far away, we were graced with the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, a thrilling adventure that reignited our passion for the Star Wars universe. Sadly, it appears that our love affair with Mando and his tiny green sidekick has come to a screeching halt with season 3, a veritable nosedive off the edge of the proverbial Starlack pit. It's a travesty, really, especially when compared to the recent release of Andor. Andor's brilliantly written script, captivating Okay, let's try. Okay.
Breathe, man. Come on, you can do this. Hey,
yeah.
I'm here with you, Brad.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
This one might be tough. Andor's brilliantly written script captivated mature audiences with its complex storylines and expertly crafted character development. The Mandalorian Season 3, on the other hand, feels as if it has regressed to a child's bedtime story, complete with overly simplistic narratives and cardboard cutout villains. The most ruinous offender continues to be the character arc of Grogu, the once adorable star of the series, whose puppetry in Season 3 has deteriorated to the point where it resembles a green sock puppet from a child's school play. The creature's feeble attempts at emoting have become an unintentional parody of itself, a caricature of the already questionable puppetry of earlier seasons. If only the showrunners had invested in an upgrade, perhaps we could have been spared the cringeworthy sight of Grogu's googly eyes and flailing limbs. But alas, it's not just puppetry that has diminished in quality. The plot lines, which started as engaging, albeit straightforward quests in previous seasons, have devolved into a repetitive cycle of interstellar fetch quests. Mando's intergalactic to-do list has grown wearisome, and it's hard not to imagine him grumbling under his helmet. Ugh, another pointless errand. Moreover, the large-scale battles that once enthralled us with their dazzling special effects and heart-pounding stakes have been reduced to lackluster skirmishes, more befitting of a Saturday morning cartoon. These battles now feel as threatening as a pillow fight in a galaxy far, far away from the epic conflicts that Star Wars is known for. Season 3 has effectively turned The Mandalorian into a show for kids, losing the broader appeal it once had. Adding insult to injury is the series' humor, or rather its glaring absence. What was once a clever and subtle balance of wit and adventure has been replaced with cheap gags and slapstick comedy. We find ourselves longing for the days when Mando and Baby Yoda's escapades brought laughter and excitement, rather than the groans and eye rolls that Season 3 inevitably explicits. It's a tragedy of galactic proportions, as the show that once held so much promise has now become a shadow of its former self. Season 3 of The Mandalorian is proof that not even the power of the Force can save a series that has lost its way. To end, my fellow Star Wars fans, it seems we must strap in and endure the bumpy ride that is Season 3 of The Mandalorian as we traverse this turbulent stretch of the Star Wars universe. Let's keep our fingers crossed for the return from in future installments, or at the very least, a puppetry makeover for our little green friend. And remember, even in the darkest times, the Force is still with us, guiding us through the absurdity and inspiring us to keep laughing in the face of galactic mediocrity. Brian, what do you think?
Okay. So I have all the thoughts. All right, so let's break this down some of the high notes. And I'm going to start off with the fact that the person goes, there is no major battles and that. Now you said this this review was written sometime in March of 2023.
Yeah, pretty recent.
But to try and give the person a little bit of grace here, because there will not be much, is this. It's called build. So as you and I had, as we've seen now with the entirety of the season, which ended last week, so it ended the middle part of April, is that it built to, especially the last two episodes, major, major, major battles. So, with that being said, if every week you have these long, drawn out battles, when you've got the Empire, when you've got, Mando coming in for the sky to save everything, then your audience gets desensitized. So you build. Now, I personally didn't see an absence of special effects or battles, but when you get the last two episodes, which, especially with the last one, is basically a big fight scene, it builds. And had you had that throughout the season, then it would not have had nearly the impact. So that's thing one. Here's thing two, which actually things two and three. So thing two, which is this, their remark about the show being focused on the kids audience. So let's remember the show you're watching. You're watching The Mandalorian, which is part of the Star Wars universe, which is both owned by and streams on a platform which is ran by Walt Disney. It's for kids. Okay. Disney did not make his money marketing to people in their 30s and 40s. It didn't. The reason that Walt Disney could be in his secret vault, being frozen to one day rise and bring forth the end of days, is the fact, and I don't think that's far a stretch, is the fact that they make a lot of money based on kids. Yes, parents pay for it because kids want to go for it, want to go to it. The reason that Disney owns half of the universe at this point is because of the power of, I will do this for my kids to shut them up, is a real deal. Okay. I've gone to Disneyland as a child, and as a not child, I can tell you it's way more fun as a kid, because when you're not a kid, you know how much everything costs. All right. So it is 100% meant for kids. Okay. Here's the difference. When you are 14 and younger, it's a Halloween outfit that you can get for about $20. When you're 18 and above, it's cosplay and costs about $200. Okay, so that's the thing. So it's meant for kids. And finally, but I thought we had moved past this. As someone who apparently is a fan of the show, his name is Grogu.
Actually, it's Din Grogu now.
Well, we're getting to that, yes. But at the time he wrote this, the child, the foundling, his name is Grogu. In fact, you could have gone with the child. You could have gone with the foundling. He never has been Baby Yoda for one very important reason. He was born after Yoda was born and Yoda's dead. Yoda has joined the Force, and the child is still with us. By the way, child is on a misnomer, because he at this point is 53 years old. Okay, so I just had lots of issues when it came to that. There was some humor in it. We didn't have a lot of Pelibato this season. Amy Sedaris' character carries a lot of that, but it was meant to be more of a serious tone, because so much of this was about the Mandalorians finding and we delved really into the mythos of not the Mandalorian, the Mandalorians, plural, the real culture of the Mandalorian. So the shows had a more serious ilk, and again, it built, I think, tremendously, especially the last 4 episodes of the season. So there wasn't a whole lot of slapstick going on there, but it was still an excellent season. So, sir, whoever you are, take a chill pill. And if you get nothing else out of this, really please understand, always Grogu, never Baby Yoda.
Yeah, man. Okay, so actually, go ahead and give me your rage rating on this one.
Oh, put the scale up for me. I'm debating. Oh. Got to give him a 3. There was no humor. It wasn't funny.
All right.
I got to give him a 3.
Okay. So here's my thing. he made one critical mistake in his rating.
Okay.
He said that Andor was better than this. And
I was going to let that one lie, but yes.
With that alone, the rest of it could have been perfect. Is that there is so much rage that it is actually funny. This person is 100% pure Doomass.
Okay, but here's the deal. We got. This is why I didn't give him the 4, because of the Andor. Because it'll be one thing if this reviewer, whoever they are, if they're the only one spouting how much they enjoyed Andor, but they are not. Andor has a fairly vocal following about how awesome it was. Just like we have the people who hated She-Hulk, and I've said this before, it almost like the exact same people who hate She-Hulk love Andor. You and I didn't get it. We both tried Andor. I didn't finish the series. I don't know if you actually got through it or
not.
I
finished it, yeah.
Okay, was it worth it?
No.
Okay, so with that, Andor is not our cup of tea. So I'm not gonna really blast the guy or girl or whoever for liking Andor because I didn't get it, unlike them who blasted The Mandalorian season 3 because they didn't get it. And by the way, by any metric, any objective measure, any season of Mandalorian is better than the one season of Andor. And I gotta say, I personally think the season 3 is my favorite season.
Yeah, the other thing that we got to remember too. So it just says that this was done in March of 2023. So which means at the most, the show was only on episode 3 or 4, so only halfway done.
Yes, absolutely.
When they wrote this for the entire season. So this person had so much rage and hatred to the show that they didn't even want to wait for everything to wrap up. They wanted to be out there and be like, "Boom, no, this sucks," without even watching it. Well, I didn't like Andor, but I watched it all.
Yeah, you put yourself through all that. Well, okay, we are also ignoring the most likely factor in this review. It was written by Moff Gideon.
Well, at least one of his clones. We'll get into that more. That's a good segue. Let's get into that.
Well, here's the deal. Did you notice that if you looked at the clones of Moff Gideon in that hallway, at the right angle, it almost looked like a kaleidoscope. Did you like that?
Dude, you already won the episode with rating, but you just cemented it in, buddy. Well,
did you? Yes, sir.
Dude,
yes.
Oh, man, I need to rewatch that show.
Right?
Right. And I hope we need a season 2 of Kaleidoscope
very get a soon. Season 2. Yes.
Oh man. All right. Well, back to Mandalorian we're talking. Okay, so I got a couple questions here I want to bring up. And
it's almost like they should have called Saul.
Dude.
Here's the only thing that I'm done. Here's the only thing, and I don't know if you ever saw this. The only thing else they could have done was if Mando, and we'll talk about the scene we're talking about, but we have this the Hall of Clones or the Kaleidoscope, and we'll talk about all this stuff here in a second. If he had actually taken a trash can of some type of receptacle and thrown it at them, because the first time I saw Giancarlo Esposito was in one of Spike Lee's early films called Do the Right Thing. And
wait, he was in that?
Did you know the character Bugging Out?
Okay,
so Spike Lee plays the character Mookie, right?
Yeah.
Mookie's best friend is a guy named Bugging Out, who was constantly going to the pizza shop, Saul's Pizza Shop, and talking about why there's no black people on the wall. That is Giancarlo Esposito. Dude,
I gotta watch it again. I have not seen that in years.
He had the braids, but that was Giancarlo Esposito.
Okay, dude, that's.
I'm a big fan of Giancarlo, so I watch everything he's in. Have you ever seen Nothing to Lose with Martin Lawrence and Tim Robbins?
Yes,
he is in that.
What?
Okay, so you know the two guys that are after them, right? Yeah. So, and I forget the name of him, but the gentleman who plays Dr. Cox on Scrubs, and is kind of the driver but the guy that's always talking a very deep baritone and listens to the classic music and all that, that is also Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh, dude, we're gonna do it. Let's do a filmography of him next week. Well,
yes.
Let's stay this straight a little bit longer. Let's filmography him, because I think I think there's gonna be a lot of these that I'm gonna be like.
Again, I am such a huge fan. Anytime Giancarlo's there, I'm like, dude, I am there. And of course, we gotta love him in The Boys. So he is just fantastic.
Yeah, he's part of our acting Mount Rushmore too.
He's getting there. He is definitely getting there, you know. And if we get our dream as our fan casting, if he takes over somehow for Patrick Stewart, that would be just incredible.
I mean, he could do that or Magneto. I mean,
I like him better as Magneto, truthfully. Yes.
You know, I think he's caliber actor. Awesome.
Well, put him in Wakanda even. Give us something.
Yeah.
You know, give us something. All right.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I prefer him in DC somewhere, which let's see here real quick. What Ted Kord? He could be an aging superhero. We do see the bug in the trailer. True. So Ted Kord isn't a bit. I think it's Jason Sudeikis. Which makes really good sense. Anyway, all right, we'll think about it. Okay. So
how about a new Lucius Fox?
Lucius Fox would be great. You know what? You know what else he could do?
Okay.
He could be the High Father.
There it is.
Could be
there it is.
Integral part in New Genesis, and he could be the High Father.
The High Father.
And then we could finally tell the Miracle Man story. Dude, we're gonna prevent some New Genesis there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
All right, cool. So I'm going to bring up a couple things here because if you're watching this, you know what happened in the season. So I was going to bring up a couple of points here. What kind of give what Brian's thoughts are, what my thoughts are, and kind of go that we'll kind of give our thoughts at the end, and we'll rate the season.
Yep.
And I guarantee mine's going to be better than this guy.
As always, I think we've only had, I don't remember what it was, but we've only had one review ever that mine was higher than yours. I don't even remember what it was, but one time my review was higher than yours.
Yeah. Right. So what do you think about the destruction of the Darksaber?
That was, it made me sad because I personally really love just the idea of the Darksaber. And here's the deal. I also don't think it's truly destroyed, because what we wound up having was, and again, if you've seen, so we should do our scroll spoiler alerts. So if you've not seen this, then definitely want to go. But basically, what winds up happening is Moff Gideon basically creates basically an Empire uniform, a la Vader. That is made of Beskar. So, which is the whole reason they wanted the planet of Mandalore. Through all the big fights, he basically takes Kreezy's hand and uses it and basically crushes the hilt, the control of the Darksaber. So the Darksaber doesn't work. Now, that does not mean, though, that it cannot be repaired. It wasn't thrown into the fire pit. The actual saber is still there. It's damaged. So it is possible. So I think it can be repaired, but I would love to hear your theory, sir.
Here's my theory on the Darksaber. The Darksaber Kyber crystal will be taken out and will be used to construct Din Grogu's lightsaber. That's my Darksaber. I think that's why I think that they broke the Darksaber, the hilt. They're ending that reign.
Okay.
And I think that Din Grogu is going to wield his own Darksaber.
Okay, so here's the deal. Now we've seen Yoda, and I think even with Yazzle, I think we've seen again whatever the species that Grogu, Yazzle, and again Grogu, never ever Baby Yoda. But Grogu, Yazzle, and Yoda are members of. We've seen both Yoda and Yazzle. I don't know why Yaddle are killing me today. They use sabers, right? They use the traditional lightsaber. Now they are both significantly larger than Grogu, given that they are full-grown versions of their species. By the way, it's still one of the coolest ones ever when you see Yoda force lift his saber like it's about to go down Doku. But that being said, it would be cool to see Grogu do it. I think he's still a little young, still a little small for a saber of his own. I think that comes with some logistical, like, okay, where does he put it? All that. And by the way, he doesn't need it. All right, we're taking this out of order, but the tail end of the season finale, I mean, that was Avatar level firebending that we saw from that. Like, Darth Vader had to be like, where were you? when Obi had the high ground, where the hell were you? Like, bro.
Yeah. Why don't when you're lightsaber fighting, why don't you just use the Force to turn off your opponent's lightsaber?
Right. So, okay, so I'm giving a quick shout. So, a buddy of mine named Kevin Smith is a huge fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And when the show was on, the original run of the first series, the one that was centered around Aang, we would sit and we talk about it a lot, kind of like I talked with this other guy about all things Marvel, DC, and what have you. And so he goes, there's no reason Aang should ever lose a fight. And he goes, there's no reason that any airbender should ever lose a fight. And I go, what do you mean by that? He goes, they should just take the oxygen out of the lungs of their opponent, wait for them to pass out, and then put the oxygen back so not kill anyone. But just take the oxygen, they pass out, they bring the oxygen back, the air back, and they can disarm them. And honestly, at that point, it's probably less injurious to them than an actual battle. I was like, so you go, so the fact that any airbender has a full-on fight with anyone is actually irresponsible when they can just end the fight right then and right there. He also fan casted, we didn't call it this, but he also fan casted bloodbending, because he pointed out that plasma is mostly blood. Anything that's liquid is plasma mostly water. He goes, why couldn't someone just again bend the blood in someone's body and take over? He said it would just be very painful. He would be able to move. So again, before we talked about bloodbending, we didn't call it bloodbending. We should have, sued Nickelodeon. Like, hey, we got the idea first. But yeah, so I got on that tangent seeing Grogu do hellified firebending. But yeah, why does he actually need the saber at this point? He's kind of good.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not
kind of good.
But can you imagine?
Be really cool to watch.
Can you imagine when Din Grogu is going to show up in the Rey movie as a Mandalorian? He's going to ignite the darksaber.
Yes,
because this is going to be years down, 15 years after Rise of the Skywalker. So another 50 years from now. So Grogu will be over 100.
Yeah, which is probably like a teenager. In his development. Do we know? Okay, again, you're the fan that knows all the canon and all the ancillary books. How did we ever get an idea of how old Yoda was?
Yoda was 948 when he died.
948, and he looked elderly. So let's cut that in half and go. You can see 948. So let's just go 450. That gives us a 900. So let's say that's middle age. So if 450 is middle age, so you would assume fully realized Jedi at that moment. Grogu is 50. At the 50-53, depending on how the time, he was 50 when he was found in episode 1 of The Mandalorian, which had 3 seasons, which will accumulate to 3 years. Okay.
It was a little older than that because there's a 2-year time jump in there. So because he trained with Luke for 2 years.
Right. So my point in bringing that up would be at that point is you said he'd be basically 100 by the time we get to Ray. He probably would again developmentally if things are consistent. We're thinking way deep into this one, folks. He would probably be a teenager. And by the way, I know the perfect thing for because again, folks, there's a teaser that he may actually speak at the end of this. Pardon me. Throughout the series, he squeals, and you heard us saying no, yes earlier in referencing him, because actually through the use of some technology, he has actually not spoken yet. Kind of like Maggie in The Simpsons. I know exactly what his first words should be, and there will be only 3 of them, sir.
I want frogs.
I am Groot. Dude, it's a Disney property too at this point. That can be, you know what? How awesome would it be if the planet that the Groots come from is somehow linked in Star Wars?
I mean, it is possible, man.
It is completely possible.
That's actually a good idea for an episode 2, like linking, bringing Star Wars into Marvel, because it is
especially Guardians.
Yeah. You know that there's a like Jason Aaron or somebody has written the Marvel in case of emergency break glass Star Wars into Marvel.
You know, Jon Favreau and that group on last Thursday we're sitting around going, "Hey, what would happen?" And somewhere they wrote it down. It's on the back of a bag of Funyuns, or somebody had their phone out.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's gonna be that in case of emergency break glass. Like it will be the idea like this either. It'll be a total money grab movie, but it will be that it's jumping the shark. It'll be like we gotta like link something together. But if you're gonna link something from Star Wars to something from Marvel, the natural fit would honestly be Guardians. They spent all
or the Nova Corps,
or honestly, well, something in that product, or maybe the Celestials. You got some things there. But I personally just see how great would it be. Okay, not I am Groot, but could you imagine if somehow Grogu's first words were "You are Groot," and they look down and there's this little bulb.
Yes.
And that is why that entire species just refers to them as Groot, because back in, again, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Grogu names them Groot, and it just becomes absorbed in their entire culture. That they, and by the way, at the end of Guardians Volume 1, the only Groot to ever break that line was, he didn't go, "I am Groot." He goes, "We are Groot." By the way, Vin Diesel, how dare you? Okay, that movie was just nothing but fun for me. I'm digging it. And then all of a sudden, you got to do the whole, glow in the dark pollen. Could you imagine if you had an allergy? Like if you were hanging around Groot?
I do.
Could you imagine like Drax if you need like some Claritin?
Yes.
Because remember, he has famously huge turds.
I mean, and he is invisible.
Yes. Yeah. And Dave Bautista, we're going to miss you, man. But with that being said, could you imagine that, as he's letting out that glow in the dark pollen, he says, "We are Groot." And then
we are family?
Not since Paul Walker, Vin. Not since Paul Walker. Dude. Little ocular perspiration. The single Denzel. The single Denzel. Yeah. That was all it was. Now, again, when it was the episode with The Last of Us, now that was just full on snot rag, like Viola Davis crying, but the We Are Groot, again, the one, just a single.
Yeah.
Last question, because I'm going on a tangent, just because I meant to ask you this several times. I'm assuming, like me, you've seen the Guardians Volume 1 multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Is it me, or did Quill's mom Did you see Moondragon in that scene? If you don't know Moondragon, Google her after the show. But there's a character in Marvel named Moondragon,
Yeah.
and the way that they characterize his mom when he touches the Infinity Stone, instead of Gamora, he sees his mom. Right?
Mhm.
Forgive me, folks. We're going way deep in my nerddom here, but this has been one of those things in the back of my brain. I wonder what Brad would think. By the way, I'm getting here on the podcast, and you see the text I get from him during the week. Hey, what would happen if this happened? I love it. Okay, but check out Moondragon, and then look at the scene where he touches the Infinity Stone, the Power Stone, and he sees his mom instead of Gamora, like in a hallucination. Take my hand. By the way, anytime, Gamora, if you would like me to. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry. Yeah, just watch us if you see Moondragon. I don't know why. Is she supposed to be Moondragon? Like so. All right, save us from my tangents at this point, because we're really circling the drain here.
No,
So
you're good. You're good.
What's
So, where do you think Mandalorian is going to go from here? So after season 3, because
Sure.
Let's be real, like season 3, the ending of season 3, it is an ending. And my take on that is that they did kind of, the Moff Gideon stuff is done.
Yep.
The Moff Gideon stuff is done.
Yeah.
They wrapped up everything.
By the way, shouldn't the suit have been fireproof? Like, of all the things it was able to deal with, shouldn't fire kind of been a thing? Like, dude, the head of your former empire famously is a burn victim. Like, wouldn't you have thought, like, maybe, just maybe, with all the stuff that Beskar can do, maybe once it was a little flame retardant. Just maybe. All right, please go ahead.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I was kind of thinking, like, why did Vader ever go after that Beskar? Because he's been to Mandalore before. I mean, like,
right.
Like, there's some very, very big episodes of the Clone Wars that take place on Mandalore. But the to me, the whole season,
because he's still butthurt over Padme.
Yeah, for 30 years. For 40 years.
Okay. Look, let's play this out in reality. Okay, dude, you're like 9 years old. Okay. When you meet the love of your life. Okay. Not even the love of your life just happened to be Natalie frickin' Portman. Okay.
Which is the right answer. I mean, like, I can see that.
No matter what the question, can you talk about this is the way? No matter what the question is, Natalie Portman's the answer. Okay.
But it has to be like, Okay.
Okay, we talk about something, and I bring this up sometimes when I talk about when you look at so like Heath Ledger, famously in his filmography, he did movies with both Jake Gyllenhaal and Maggie Gyllenhaal, and his love scene was with Jake. I think that's kind of cool. When you look at Natalie Portman, her ex-lovers or love interest, on one side you've got Anakin Skywalker, who becomes Darth Vader, and then you've got my boy V. She's got a thing. She's got a type. She's kind of got a type.
I never thought of it that way.
And V, there's some definitely Sith tendencies with V. I mean, the outfit definitely. I mean, okay, he's an anarchist, and Vader's kind of the ultimate fascist. But other than that deal, and both burn victims, you know.
There's some definite parallels.
V for Vendetta, Vader, maybe, I'm just thinking all the things, in one movie she makes out with her brother, and another movie she dresses like a schoolgirl, that's the whole deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm telling, there's something there, there's something there. But okay, now we're fantastic way too much live. But I forget where I was going with this. But right, Vader wouldn't have Beskar, because when you're 9 years old and you meet Natalie Portman, and then when you're supposedly, what is he, like 19, 20, and she hasn't aged a flipping day. Now that's some timeline stuff for your butt. And she, you ever wonder, when he loses his hand, if previously that was the hand that he sinned with, and then he was kind of like, yeah, Yeah, I get it now. All the informational Jedi films were like, look, if you do this, you'll lose your hand. He was like, I'll be damn.
They're right.
They were right.
They're right.
They were, yeah, okay. So it's kind of like if he took that bionic hand and reached under the bed and slowly pulled it out.
And then zoom, and it gets cut off.
Yeah, and what's the it part?
Oh,
What it got? You notice, by the way, when they shot that scene, Lucas made sure that the flame stopped about mid thigh, like no higher. Like there's miraculously, like we'll save that for you, Darth. Okay, yeah. What the hell is that?
dog barking.
Okay, I thought that was a dog barking, but given Leia's ability to morph into other forms,
right?
I thought, maybe it was that.
Yeah. All right. So, where do you think that season 4 is going to go, or the movie, whatever's going to come first?
Sure, I think what comes. That's a good question.
Will there be a time jump?
I think you almost have to do a time jump because now, if it's the idea of taking him as okay, again, there will be spoilers. At the end of this season 3, what we find is a couple things. Number one is that Din Djarin made it, I guess Facebook official, where he adopted Grogu, and then that Grogu winds up taking on the name of the family, which I didn't realize that the Mandalorians put the family name first, the individual name second.
Not all of them, because it was Clan Kreese and it's Bo-Katan Kreese.
Yeah.
So I don't get that one either.
Like I thought they would go, Grogu Djarin, but whatever. Anyway, so he's now Din Grogu, which means that he's been adopted by Din Djarin, which is the name of Mando, aka the Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
So he was told that he needs to then, which that's the only thing that kind of took me out of the episode was, hey, he's joining, he's taking the creed, he's gonna walk the way, and the armor is quick. Okay, so now y'all need to leave. Like, now that he's gonna really apprentice by, like, go. We've won back our home world. We've reestablished our family. Okay, now you're gonna be one of us. So the way you become one of us is you leave. You didn't get a slice of sweet potato pie. You just gotta go. But he's supposed to take Grogu out on his adventure. He can learn. He can apprentice. If they spend too much time following Grogu and Mando doing apprenticeship stuff, it's gonna look a lot like the first 2 seasons. So I think at this point they do a time jump, and it's gonna, if they do a time jump, what it does is it's gonna rob us of when he finally does speak. So if they do a time jump again, Marvel, we know you're listening, I would have, whether it's the movie or season 4, when they come back, assuming that they do a time jump, they should just get right to it. They should have one of the, maybe even do like off screen, have like from the razor, someone talking, and then you realize that it's Grogu, and that's how we get the voice, right? Because they do a time jump, they can't do like a 10-year or 5 or 10-year jump and to say that he didn't. Well, I guess they could, but it would be kind of silly that they've gone 5 more years of his development. He's not said a word, right? Because at this point, he would have been with Mando for close to a decade. So I think that's how I would handle it. But definitely him coming back as a full Mandalorian, and this is Brian's fan casting. During this, they find the remnants, and this will probably make more sense for the movie. He runs into remnants of the Jedi Order, and given that he is extremely force sensitive, he has all these abilities, and as he's maybe has embraced the way of the Mandalorians, he's lost his connection to the Force, and he has to make a decision. He can't walk both paths. You can be a Mandalorian or you can be a Jedi. Which does he have to do? And this is, boom, my thing, that if we jump ahead, I think it also can go back to the series as well. But in the movie, I think at this point, you have at some point had Mando die. Like Mando should not be in the movie. So at some point Mando died, battle, natural causes, whatever, and now Grogu is really doing his best to live up to what his father would have wanted, but then he has to make a decision between following the path laid forth by his father versus taking the path that's laid for him by being really someone that can really be a true Jedi master. And part of that being his exposure to Rey, and Rey talking about the Force, and him really, again, having to really make that choice. I think that's what I would do with Grogu in a movie, would lay it out that he's really got to decide, is he Mandalorian, is he Jedi, does he walk the way, does he walk the path, and then take it from there.
I like that. I do. I kind of hope for something a little bit different, because I think that in his bounty hunting, he'll use the Force, but not on either side. He's just going to use it. Like, oh, I'm going to push, I'm going to pull, I'm going to jump. You know, right. I'm just going to use it. You know, so I don't think it'll ever go away. I don't think it's going to be refined. Besides the couple little tricks that he knows. You know,
sure.
But dude, like either way, I think that the future's good for Din Grogu. I can't wait to see the armor on him. I can't wait to see all the cool toys, all the places he's going to show up, because you know he's going to.
Yep. Here's the deal. I hope we get this, and this is just me being silly. I hope we get a Rey Grogu love scene a la Leah Thompson and Howard the Duck.
I got nothing, man.
With your boy Jeffrey Jones, straight out of the penitentiary in real life, coming in and calling him a foul creature, and he is really bringing in the dark lords of the universe. Yes, yes, yes. I can add the Mandalorian to Howard the Duck, because also he gives Howard the Duck, that also connects to
Marvel Comics
and Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Another
Marvel. Let me be. You ain't even gotta pay me. You ain't even gotta pay me. Just let me sniff. Never mind. I'm going a bad path. I was going to a Scarlet Witch thing, and that's just not a good look. All right.
Right.
I live with also with sicker sisters on me. That's not a good look.
Just give us good Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
just put Jeff Goldblum half shirt.
I'm gonna see if that works for me. I'm just gonna show up places in like a black shirt.
Yeah.
But for some reason, this totally becomes unbuttoned, and see what that does for people. I'll probably be asking you for bail money. But remember, sir, that
I got you, buddy. I got you.
And this also is the way.
This is the way. All right. Well, so let's go ahead and rate season 3 and give me your final thoughts on season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Okay, so I think season 3, I'm gonna start off again with saying a few minutes ago, it's my favorite season. I think it built better. It gave us really the Mandalorian hierarchy. We got to see really more of the personalities of the different Mandalorians, the Armorer, Kreese, Paz Vizsla. There's so many that we got to learn more and more about. They gave us Moff Gideon against it. They gave us a true big bad in this. Come on, Giancarlo Esposito. What else? By the way, TikTok has a great I'll see if I can find it, but TikTok has a great snippet from an interview he did with Kelly Clarkson, where he actually dropped into Moff Gideon character, like no smile, that's sinister, and he made her very uncomfortable in a really great way.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm gonna look that up.
Because she points out, hey, when you're a villain, you don't smile. There's no emotion in you, and just he dropped into it, and she tried to get him to break character, and he wouldn't, and she was like, oh my goodness. So I thought it was great. All right, so with all these things that they gave us, and come on now, the mouse droids, bro, the mouse droids, okay,
R5.
Yes, the mouse droids may be my favorite thing, better than the Ewok, but I want a mouse droid versus Ewoks battle somehow. Okay, but with that being said, I got to give it on a scale of 1 to 5 beardies. I'm going to give it a 4.2. My favorite of the 3 seasons so far, but again, I think overall I'm giving it a 4.2. What would have made it higher was they finally gave, kind of like a la Chris Evans where it goes Avengers, and he finally says the symbol. At some point, Grogu's got to speak to us, and they had a perfect opportunity. And he could have said like a couple words and didn't have to say anything else. But since they didn't give me any of the words by Grogu, we're going to keep it at a 4.2 for season 3.
Very cool, man. So season 3, we got
5.
great, amazing extra. Like Lizzo as the Duchess was fantastic. I like a couple of her songs, but I love her in this. So like I really hope she gets to reprise the role. I love.
Who do you prefer, her in this or Megan Thee Stallion in She-Hulk?
Lizzo in Star Wars.
I'm going with Megan Thee Stallion and She-Hulk.
I
twerk.
I know.
One twerked.
Yeah, one did twerk, but
yeah. Strangely enough, my wallet, all the ones in my wallet has disappeared after that episode. I don't even know what happened. I was like, what the hell?
You got robbed.
Yeah, and I was thankful for the experience. Yeah, I was like,
right.
Continue.
But no, we had Lizzo married to Jack Black. We had Christopher Lloyd. We had R5. We had the Mythosaur. I mean, we had so much. And if it wasn't
Carl
clear,
Weathers continually to give us so much great work as Grief. Yes.
Right. And and we have an actual ending. And the whole point of the show up until now was defined by Bo-Katan there at the end when Moff Gideon said, what good is a Mandalorian without their toys? And it was like, we're better in numbers.
Yes.
And that's what the Mandalorian's about. The Mandalorian is the plural. That is the Mandalorian. That is the way. It's Bo-Katan. It's all them coming together. And so I thought it was a really good ending. I mean, do I want more? Absolutely. But if we don't get any more Mandalorian, we have an ending.
Right.
And so with that, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to give this season.
On a scale of 1 to 5, I'm going to give it a 7. I can already feel it coming.
Well, I'm not going to give it a 7. But this is Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
Playing in the Mos Eisley Cantina.
Yep. Here we go.
With ZZ Top.
There's ZZ Top. Yep. I knew that. That train's never late. Yep.
Right? Never late. Singing the Star Wars theme.
Yep.
And because Chris Stapleton is so amazing, he makes up words during the song, and it's amazing.
With George Lucas on bass. Yep, of course. Yep.
Yeah, with George Lucas on bass. Yeah.
With Sheldon invading the Star Wars ranch. Yep.
Yeah. What you're saying, man, you got this, buddy.
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
Keep it going,
man. So this is a 5. This is 5 Beardies.
Yeah.
I didn't have a choice.
Yeah. This is Nicolas Cage stealing a car, driving with Angelina Jolie
as Dracula.
With the ghost of Paul Walker as his co-pilot. With Wiz Khalifa talking about when I see you again. Yeah. With John Cena in full, peacemaker garb. With The Rock saying, do you smell what I'm cooking? With Jason Statham wearing a beret for some reason. And even since we don't have enough actor heroes in this thing to make it real, we get Jet Li, who somehow still travels through time as the One. By the way, the One, really overrated movie. I mean, really underrated movie.
Don't forget Jean-Claude Van Damme doing the splits on 2 chairs.
Absolutely, while carrying a weight. Because that's what he does. Yeah, and
and they're all dressed up as Batman.
They are all dressed up as Batman.
Even Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, except for some reason, Michael Keaton's dressed up almost like Birdman, trying to save the universe. Birdman. So that's totally your rating. So for those of us that want a realistic rating, I'm giving it a 4.2. For those of you that just need, all the hyperbole, Bradley's 5 point plus, which is what I've now dubbed when Bradley goes Bradley. It's getting a 5+ rating. Yeah,
I love it. That's gonna be a thing. I'm gonna make a graphic for that. Yeah.
Last question as we're wrapping up today. I got a question for you. So I don't know about you, but the internet has been flooded with people taking shots at the mock-up of the new Stitch from the live action Lilo and Stitch. Who do you have taking away the Force? So there is no Force in a one-on-one death battle. Do you have Grogu out the Force, or your boy 626, aka Stitch?
And it's a straight up fight. We're not playing chess, checkers,
No,
anything like that.
Straight up fight, just
Down
going at it. Yeah, well, we won't go to the death. We'll go till can't answer a knockdown 10 count or they tap. We're not gonna do straight up. We're not gonna add the death in the death battle. And yes, Mills Lane will be there talking about let's get it on. Mm-hmm. Who do you have?
Stitch.
My friend.
Yeah.
Stitch, and this is why you are my tag team partner, my brother from another mother, the only man I will let massage the head wrinkles. You have the Emperor of Awesome, Sir Bradley Buchanan.
Thank you. Now, what about you, Brian? Why Stitch? Why Stitch?
I just honestly, again, Grogu relies so much on the Force, as he should. I think you take the Force away. What you get with Grogu is you get a toddler. I think Stitch I think at this point, it's like Stitch fighting a cuddly version of Gamora. By the way, Gamora, if you ever need to cuddle, I'm here for you. But 626 is born and bred to be a machine. He's a living weapon, right? So I would just say that would be my pick versus Grogu. Literally just wants to give everybody a hug.
And plus,
wants to give everybody a hug.
And plus, we haven't seen Grogu kick a lot of ass yet.
We've seen him levitate, and that's what he does, right? He gives us the peaceful, hey, I will levitate you, unless it is like a mouse or something he's going to eat. You're right. We've not seen Grogu really bring the fire, bring the thunder. Yeah. So absolutely, I get where you're going with that. And if you take away the Force, I think you are going to limit Grogu's ability to not only win but to just be alive. So yeah. That's why I'm picking 626, aka Stitch.
So Brian, who's your human of the week?
My human of the week, I'm going to pull from The Mandalorian, and I'm going to go R.I.P. to Paz Vizsla. I think that was one of my favorite characters. And it's about why I really like the season. It gave us a lot more detail on each of the Mandalorians, their personalities, and R.I.P. to Paz Vizsla. I thought for sure we were going to get the armorer is evil. We did not get that yet. I'm still not done with it, but I'm totally going to go with Paz Vizsla for my Better Than Us Human of the Week because of the armor and the way that he went out in the season.
For myself, my Better Than Us Human is not really human at all and is not really alive. I am going to go to Green Arrow. And the reason is there is a brand new Green Arrow comic. He's finally getting back. He's finally getting his own run again, coming out tomorrow.
Okay.
So I am 100% sure I will be doing a special episode all about Green Arrow #1 on probably Wednesday. So if you're into comics, just kind of keep an eye out for that. But Green Arrow is one of my favorite characters, especially to read in comics.
Okay.
So it's going to be awesome. So, Brian, where can we find you?
You can always find me in the Book of Faces. So you can find me at Brian Steven Dennis. Give me a like, give me a follow. I always try to keep it light and interesting on the Book of Faces.
All right. You can find me on the Book of Face as well at The Fandemic. Also active on TikTok at The Fandemic 1. If you want to support the show, there are several ways to do so. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/thefandemic. We'll toast you or roast you on the next episode. Go to Patreon at patreon.com/PVOTN Fandemic. Become an episode assistant, an episode producer, a pre-venge producer like Stacy. Or yes, you could be part of the Con 2, the Council of Nerds, starting at around $5 a month. You can just go to PayPal or Venmo if you just want to say, hey, Brad, here's some money at Bradley Butin. You can go to just share the episode.
It's almost like if Bradley was under the parents' bed and you reached under and you slowly pulled him out. And you go, hey, Brad, I appreciate what you do. And here's the change. Here's the bonus. Here it is, sir.
I like that. I like that a lot. I would like a bonus. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and keep the conversation alive in the comments. So thank you for leveling up my awesome and being a part of the Fandemic family. All right. So, Brian, I think we have reached max level.
We have buried the needle on our awesomeness. So again, thank you everyone for joining us. We are recording a day off than our normal cycle. So thank you again if you found us. And please remember that we really hold fastly to no retreat, no surrender, and most importantly, Goonies. Never say die.
Oh, you're welcome for leveling up your awesome. Live free or die empty. If you think about it, every time you feel stupid, you just got a little smarter. Squirrels' cheeks are their nut sacks. Don't let today end in a why didn't I? Oh, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah, Brian. The whole Mario thing, man. Is it Mario?
It's got to be Mario.
Is his name Mario because it's the Mario Brothers and Luigi Mario doesn't sound right.
It's got to be that. It's got to be that. And another one, just to throw it out to you, I know we're kind of running up, but there's actually a running myth regarding the Smurfs. And the running myth regarding the Smurfs and why they live in mushrooms is that what actually winds up happening is the Smurfs in this abstract way lure small children into the woods, and the small children freeze to death because of the weather, and underneath their dead bodies sprouts mushrooms, and out of the mushrooms are their spirits, which are still stuck on Earth, but they're frozen, hence they're blue, and that is who the Smurfs are. And actually, the fan theory is that actually Gargamel is actually the hero, because Gargamel is trying to capture the Smurfs to free their souls so they can go to the afterlife.
I'll co-sign that.
So I